Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of cloud computing. But not just the basics. We're going way deeper. Like how it actually works, why it's such a big deal, and how it's kind of changing, well, everything. From like how businesses do their thing to how we chill with our entertainment. It's everywhere. And it's pretty amazing when you think about it. Okay, so before we get too far, can we just like break it down? What IS cloud computing? In like normal people speak?
Yeah, totally. It's basically like this. All the data and software you use, it doesn't live on your computer anymore. It's all stored in these massive data centers. Think of them like digital warehouses for everything, from your photos to like really complex business applications, and you access it all over the internet whenever you need it.
So instead of owning all the hardware and software, we're kind of just renting it from these cloud providers.
Exactly. And there are like different ways to run it. We call them IS, PIS, and SaaS.
Okay, that sounds a little intimidating.
It's not that bad, I promise. So IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. That's like renting the foundation, the bare bones,
Okay.
servers, storage, networks, that kind of stuff.
So like IS is for the hardcore tech people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so what about PaaS?
PaaS is platform as a service. It's like renting a space that already has all the tools you need to build and launch applications. Imagine a pre-built kitchen for a chef. They don't need to worry about the plumbing and electricity. They can just focus on making awesome food.
Got it. So PaaS is for the app developers, the software creators.
Exactly.
And what about SaaS? I feel like I hear that one all the time.
SaaS is software as a service. That's like the finished product, ready to use right online. Gmail, Zoom, Spotify, stuff like that.
Okay, so it's like IIS is building a house from scratch, PaaS is getting a prefab kit, and SaaS is just moving into a fully furnished apartment.
Perfect analogy.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. But why is everyone so hyped about cloud computing? What makes it so game-changing?
It's a game changer for businesses, for sure, especially when it comes to dealing with, like, sudden spikes in demand. So let's say an online store has a massive sale. In the past, they'd need enough servers to handle all that traffic, even when it wasn't a sale, which was super expensive and inefficient.
Makes sense.
But with cloud computing, they can just instantly scale up their resources during the sale and then scale back down afterward. They only pay for what they actually use.
That's super smart. It's like having a pop-up stadium that magically expands for a big game and then disappears when it's over. No wasted space. So what other cool things can cloud computing do?
Well, accessibility is huge. Remember when you used to carry around a USB drive for everything?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, with cloud computing, all your data and applications, they're available anywhere you have an internet connection.
That's so convenient. It's like having your entire digital life in your pocket.
Exactly. And think about collaboration. Teams can work on documents at the same time, share files, have video conferences all through the cloud.
So it's not just about storage and access. It's changing how we work together.
Totally.
It's pretty amazing.
And one of the coolest things is how the cloud is driving all this crazy innovation. Like the power and storage capabilities. They're leading to breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics.
Okay, that's cool and all, but how does this affect me, the average person? Like, is cloud computing already a part of my life without me even realizing it?
Oh, absolutely. You probably use it way more than you think. When you stream music on Spotify, watch movies on Netflix, play video games online, that's all cloud computing.
Oh, wow, I had no idea.
And remember those USB drives we talked about?
Yeah.
Now we have cloud storage services like Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud. It's like having a backup brain you can access anywhere.
That's a great way to put it.
And even the websites you visit, the apps you use, they're powered by cloud platforms like AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud.
So cloud computing is basically running the world.
Pretty much.
Okay, this is all super cool, but no technology is perfect, right? There have to be some downsides.
Right, there are definitely some things to consider, like security and privacy. When you store your data on someone else's servers, you're trusting them to keep it safe. And while cloud providers invest a lot in security, data breaches and unauthorized access are always a risk.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of.
Because like giving someone the keys to your digital house.
Exactly.
And what happens if things go wrong?
Well, that brings us to another concern. Downtime. What happens if a cloud provider's servers crash? It could disrupt services for millions of people. Businesses, communication, even essential services could be affected.
That's a scary thought. So the cloud has amazing potential, but there are definitely risks involved.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. That's what we're going to explore in Part 2 of this deep dive. We'll unpack the challenges and look at how individuals and businesses can use cloud services safely and effectively.
Okay, this is already super interesting. I can't wait to dive deeper in part two. All right, so we're back. And last time, we kind of just scratched the surface, of how cloud computing is changing everything. But we also talked about some of the downsides, the risks, like
Yeah.
security breaches, servers crashing, that kind of stuff. So I'm curious, are there other things we should be thinking about when it comes to the cloud, I mean? Things that maybe aren't as obvious.
That's a great question. I think one thing that's really interesting is how cloud computing is kind of like democratizing access to technology, you know?
Oh, yeah, what do you mean by that?
Well, it used to be that only these huge corporations
Yeah.
could afford really powerful computing resources.
Right.
But now, with the cloud,
It's like anyone can play.
exactly, small businesses, startups, even individuals, they all have access to the same tools now.
So it's leveling the playing field.
Exactly. It's opening up so many opportunities for innovation, for entrepreneurship.
It's pretty amazing.
And it goes beyond business, too. Think about education, healthcare. The cloud makes things like distance learning and telemedicine possible.
Wow. Yeah.
It's breaking down geographical barriers, connecting people in ways we never thought possible.
It's like the world is getting smaller.
Yeah, in a way. And this interconnectedness is only going to grow as more devices come online, as 5G networks expand.
It's like the cloud is becoming the central nervous system of our digital world.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, but here's something I've been wondering. With all this data flowing through the cloud, who owns it and how do we know it's being used responsibly?
Yeah, those are big questions. And honestly, they should be.
It's like we're pioneers in this new digital frontier. We need some ground rules.
Exactly. We need to be thinking about data privacy, security. Individuals need to understand how their data is being collected, stored, and used.
Right, transparency is key.
Absolutely. And there are some regulations in place, like the General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR in Europe.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's all about giving users more control over their data.
That's good to know. So progress is being made, but it sounds like we're still figuring things out as we go.
Yeah, it's a constantly evolving landscape.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned that cloud computing is driving innovation in AI. Can you talk more about that? Like, what are we seeing in the real world?
Oh, there's so many examples. Think about virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa.
Oh, yeah, I use those all the time.
They rely on cloud-based AI to understand what you're saying, to process information, to give you personalized responses.
It's like they're learning our habits.
Yeah, in a way. And those recommendation engines that suggest what to watch on Netflix or buy on Amazon, that's AI too.
Wow, it's everywhere.
It's like this invisible force shaping our online experiences.
So beyond those everyday examples, where else is AI making a difference?
In healthcare, AI is being used to analyze medical images.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's helping doctors detect things like cancer.
Much earlier and more accurately than before.
Exactly. And it's even being used to develop personalized treatment plans.
That's incredible. It's like AI is revolutionizing healthcare.
It really is. And the cloud is making it all possible.
So cloud computing and AI are like this powerful duo.
Exactly. They're transforming almost every industry.
But we can't ignore the potential downsides, right? Like, as AI gets more sophisticated, could it lead to job displacement?
That's a valid concern.
What happens to the people whose jobs are automated?
That's something we need to think about carefully. Policymakers, business leaders, everyone needs to be proactive.
So it's not just about embracing the potential of AI, but also addressing the potential challenges.
Exactly. We need to find ways to ensure that everyone benefits from these advancements.
Right, not just a select few.
And it's not just about jobs either. We need to consider the broader societal impact of AI, how it affects privacy, autonomy, our sense of what it means to be human.
Those are some deep questions.
Yeah, they are. And they're not going away anytime soon.
Okay, so before we move on to part 3, what's the one thing you think is most important for people to keep in mind as these technologies keep advancing?
That's a tough one. I think the most important thing is to be informed. Take the time to understand the basics of cloud computing, AI, data privacy.
Okay, so do your research.
Exactly. Read articles, watch videos, have conversations. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this rapidly changing landscape.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive. And I gotta say, all this talk about the cloud and AI, it's got me thinking about the future, Like, what's next? What's coming down the pipeline? So far, we've talked about like what cloud computing is and why it's such a big deal. But now I want to know, how is it actually changing things in the real world, I mean? Can you give us some examples?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many cool things happening, like in healthcare, for instance. Imagine a world where treatments are tailored to you based on your genes, your lifestyle, your environment.
That sounds pretty futuristic.
It is. It's called personalized medicine, and the cloud is making it possible.
Okay, I'm listening.
So with the cloud, doctors can use these AI-powered tools to analyze your medical history, predict potential health risks, and recommend preventative measures.
So it's like proactive healthcare.
Exactly. It's all about empowering you to take control of your own health.
I like it. But what about when we do get sick? Can cloud computing help with that too?
Oh, absolutely. The cloud is revolutionizing how we diagnose and treat diseases. For example, AI algorithms. They can analyze medical images with incredible accuracy.
Really?
Yeah, it's helping doctors detect things like cancer much earlier than before.
Wow, that's amazing.
And with telemedicine, people in remote areas or those who have difficulty traveling, they can access quality healthcare through video conferencing and data sharing.
So the cloud is making healthcare more accessible.
And more effective.
That's fantastic. So healthcare is obviously a big one. What other industries are being transformed by the cloud?
Finance is another great example. Fintech, or financial technology, is booming right now.
Fintech, yeah, I've heard that term.
It's disrupting traditional banking, and it's all powered by the cloud.
So like what kinds of things are we talking about?
There are all these innovative apps that use AI to help you manage your finances, invest your money, even get loans
So it's like having a personal financial advisor.
right in your pocket.
I like the sound of that. Any other industries?
Retail is another big one. Remember those personalized shopping experiences we talked about?
Yeah, the ones that kind of freak me out a little.
Exactly. That's the cloud and AI at work.
It's like they're reading my mind.
Well, in a way they are. They analyze your browsing history, your purchases, to recommend things you might like.
It's both cool and creepy at the same time.
I know, right? And let's not forget about transportation. The cloud is playing a huge role in the development of self-driving cars.
Okay, now that is straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, but it's happening. The cloud is enabling these cars to navigate, communicate, make decisions.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is. These are just a few examples, of course, but I think they give you a sense of how the cloud is transforming our world.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So what's next? What are you most excited about when you think about the future of cloud computing and AI?
That's a tough one. There are so many possibilities. But one area that I find particularly fascinating is quantum computing.
Quantum computing? That sounds like something out of Star Trek.
It kind of is, but it's real. And it has the potential to revolutionize everything.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Quantum computers can solve problems
Yeah.
that are impossible for even the most powerful classical computers.
Wow, seriously.
Yeah, it's a whole different level of computing power.
So how does the cloud fit into all of this?
Well, the cloud is making quantum computing more accessible. Companies like IBM and Google, they're offering cloud-based quantum computing services.
Even quantum computing is going mainstream.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
It's still early days. But the cloud is making it possible for more people to experiment with this technology.
That's pretty amazing. It's like the cloud is democratizing access to the future.
I like that. It's a good way to put it.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of cloud computing to the mind-blowing potential of AI and quantum computing. It's clear that the cloud is changing everything, and it's only going to get more powerful and more pervasive. So what's the takeaway message? What do people need to remember?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, stay informed. The world of technology is constantly evolving, and the cloud is at the forefront of that evolution.
So keep learning, keep exploring, and don't be afraid to embrace the future. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been an incredible journey, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Until next time, stay curious.